things in the lexicon like yada, 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 and shrinkage, you can blame Peter Melman! Peter Melman! Here he comes! Oh my God, Peter, thank you so much. Here you go.
I guess most of you know me as the guy who impregnated Roe from Roe v. Wade. I said to her, look, you're pregnant, you don't want to have the baby, you don't have to make a federal case out of it. Sometimes when I'm going through like a very difficult period, you know, like with Roe, I like to go somewhere, you know, just to get away from it all and clear my head. You know, like recently I was going through something that was just incredibly none of your business. And first I went to Rancho Mirage, but when I got really close there was nothing there. So I went to the Grand Canyon, and I'm sitting over the ledge of the Grand Canyon, staring out over this vast expanse, billions of years in the making. And suddenly I had this epiphany, you know, like, I realized that my problems are so much more important than everyone else's. I'm sorry, I have early onset rigor mortis. My doctor said it was stress, and I said, no, it can't be stress. I have no wife, no kids, and tons of money. And he said that stressless stress is the most stressful stress of all the stresses. He couldn't stress it enough. I think I'm getting too old to see like a normal GP anyway, so I started seeing a paleontologist. Another thing I did is, you know, like I got a dog, because, you know, the great thing about having a dog is that, you know, you have somebody around the house who's aging even faster than you are. Of course, they do tend to die. And, you know, like losing your dog is worse than losing a family member. I mean, you know, you don't have any mixed feelings about your dog. Hey, you know, I have a question. If you are convicted of murdering someone who drives a Prius, do you get both the gas chamber and the electric chamber? Don't answer that. Oh God! Last week I went to the Museum of Tolerance. Hey, can you believe that the Museum of Tolerance has never had an exhibit devoted to lactose? They had this one exhibit about, you know, about Islam. And I realized that it's actually a very beautiful religion. And it's just not fair to let 75 million bad apples spoil the whole bunch. I only do that joke if I'm relatively sure I'm not going to be shot. Although I do understand why Arabs hate Americans, you know, I mean, like the country of Jordan, they can't even name their airline Air Jordan because of us. They had another exhibit that showed a video of those guys marching in Charlottesville yelling, "Jews will not replace us," you know, with the tiki torches. You know, I'm thinking, that's so silly. Of course Jews aren't going to replace you. We can't take the pay cut. I met a woman at the museum who was wearing this huge, huge cross around her neck, and I said to her, "Boy, you must be really into," and she says, "Jesus Christ?" And I said, "Yeah, sorry, I'm so bad with names." In December, I started binge watching 60 Minutes. I'm up to 1971. Took a little break to go out on a date with a woman, you know, of a certain age. Well, she was 22. Drives my friends crazy, you know, like, what do you even talk about with somebody that young? You know, as if when I go out with a woman my own age, we spend the first hour of the date reviewing the Cuban Missile Crisis. I took her to this restaurant called Al Dente. You know, as if in Italy there are restaurants called Undercooked. You know, the waiter comes over and says, "The special of the night is the Lake Superior whitefish," and I say, "No, I'm boycotting Lake Superior. I think it's a little smug that you have to call yourself Lake Superior." I mean, they're all great lakes. My date got an heirloom tomato salad. And I'm thinking to myself, you know, like, who wants to eat a tomato that's been in someone's family for generations? But, you know, she's like young, you know, let her make her own mistakes. Actually, she was very bright, you know, I have to say. She was homeschooled, and, you know, I know what you're thinking, like, you know, God, her parents must have been some kind of, you know, right-wing religious crazies, but you know what? She was valedictorian. So, you know, you can't judge. Don't be so quick to judge. Another thing I really liked about her is that she had several tattoos. And it's really great to date a girl with tattoos because then you know going in that you're with someone who's willing to make a huge mistake. I guess the upshot of the date is that, you know, I learned a lot about transgender people. Did you know that 83% of people who go transgender, when they change their name, they keep the same initials? It's like, look, I'm willing to swap out my genitalia, but those monogram towels? That's where I draw the line. I felt a little bad at the end of the date, you know, like, here's this girl, 22 years old, she's already on her second gender, and, you know, what have I done with my life? My cousin Barbara is in an irreversible coma. I know what you're thinking, white girl problems. Many times we've thought about removing the feeding tubes, but she's in a very high-end facility and the food's just amazing. You know, Barbara was already a widow. And so, you know, like her daughter, who I'm fairly close with, got engaged, and she asked me to walk her down the aisle. And I agreed, but you know, like, there's something about this, it just felt like there was something un-American about, you know, giving away the bride. You know, so I sold her. Got killed on the capital gains tax. Anyway, let me just tell you this one last story before I go. Years and years ago, I had front row tickets to see Michael Jackson in concert. I walk all the way, I'm so excited, you know, I walk all the way down the aisle and I get down to the stage and I look over and Rosa Parks is sitting in my seat. You know, she refused to get up. You know, I said to her, you know, I said, you know, this is different than the bus. She wouldn't budge. So I said, look, could you at least, you know, like give me your stub so, you know, I could have a seat to see the concert? And she agreed with that. She went along with that. She gave me her stub, and, you know, I don't know if any of you had ever been to a Michael Jackson show, but, you know, like the first 50 rows were like always all white people. I'm like in the 96th row. I sit down next to this black guy, and he looks at me and goes, like, what are you doing all the way back here? And, you know, I didn't want to go into the whole story, you know, so I told him that I gave up my seat for Rosa Parks. It was weird because, like, and, you know, like one thing led to another, and I won the Nobel Peace Prize. So with the money I got for the Peace Prize, I got tickets to another Michael Jackson show. This time I had backstage passes. So after the show I got to talk to Michael, and it was great, you know, like really illuminating, and he was really friendly, but, you know, he seemed a little tired and run down, so I recommended a doctor in LA to him. The point of the story is, if not for Rosa Parks, Michael Jackson would be alive today. I took his death really hard, I gotta say, but, you know, like, I thought to myself, hey, don't be sad, do something. You know, so I looked him up, and, you know, that I saw his birthday was in August, so I started this campaign to make the month of August be officially declared Light-Skinned Black History Month.
Yes.
Worked out pretty well. You know, before I go, I just want to say, you know, like, just in the interest of full disclosure, parts of the story I just told you were fictionalized. For instance, oh, I only had third row tickets. And there was one other, oh, yeah. I've never actually spoken to a black person. But, you know, like super high on my bucket list.
Oh, wow. Okay, you're fluxing. Now, that was a